Hi folks, HR Funk here with a solution to a problem. If you own a Tisas 1911 Carry DS pistol or you've been considering purchasing one and you're having a hard time finding a weapon light that will mount to the rail on the Carry DS, I have two solutions from Olight that I'm going to tell you about in this video. So as has been reported by some sources, the equipment rail on the 4¼ inch Tisas Carry DS is shorter than the rail on the full-size 5-inch Duty DS. As a result, a lot of the large weapon lights that people like to carry will not fit on this rail. There's just not enough room to get it on there and get it to latch in that first notch of the equipment rail. When I discovered this issue, I thought it should be possible to mount a smaller light that takes up less rail space, and I first tested this with my Olight Valkyrie Mini. This is the PL2 Mini Valkyrie, and when the rail is adjusted properly, or I should say the mount is adjusted properly, there is no problem mounting the Mini Valkyrie to the Carry DS. Once I confirmed that the Mini Valkyrie would fit the rail on the Carry DS, I thought a better option for both illumination as well as an auxiliary sighting device would be the Olight Balder Mini, which is what I have here. Much like the Valkyrie, this has an adjustable mount, so you can move the light forward and backward to make sure that it positions properly. And it mounts and locks in place just fine. Now, obviously, this is a small light laser combo, so it's not going to act as an anvil hanging on the equipment rail on the front of your handgun to try to reduce muzzle rise during recoil. But for an illumination device and an auxiliary sight, it's going to work just fine. According to Olight, the Mini Balder has a maximum output of 600 lumens and a throw of 130 yards, and I do want to get some outside nighttime footage with the Mini Balder and see just what kind of performance it's capable of in low light conditions. So here is some low light footage that I recorded with the Balder attached to that handgun. And this is my backyard at about 4 o'clock in the morning. It's very dark out. As you can see, the weather is not very nice, so there's heavy cloud cover. It's extremely dark, and the Balder has no problem whatsoever lighting up my backyard. This is laser only, and I was shining it on a tree that was about 7 or 8 yards in front of me. You'll see it momentarily when I have the flashlight reactivated. And there we go right there. There's flashlight only mode. There's that tree I was talking about. And I'm going to change it back to light and laser mode again. And there you can see once more there's absolutely no problem picking up the laser in the middle of the flashlight. Along with the Mini Balder, you get an instruction card and interchangeable insert for the mount. The one that comes installed is for a Glock rail, and you can see it also works with the Carry DS pistol. There is another insert that works with the 1913 rail, and there is a hex wrench that is used for both changing the insert as well as adjusting the windage and elevation setting for the green laser, and you can see those adjustments are right here on the side of the body of the Mini Balder. And of course, you get one of the Olight magnetic charging cords that has a USB plug on the other end. According to the instruction sheet, the Mini Balder has that maximum output of 600 lumens for the first minute after it's activated, after which it steps down 17% and stays there for 39 minutes, and then it steps down to 10% for the remainder of its battery life. The laser has the exact same illumination decrease. The times are slightly different. You can see there it goes down to 17% of its output for 29 minutes and then down to 10% for the remainder of its battery life. So I don't know how many people are going to be running this all the way from the fully charged battery to 0 in the battery, but for anyone who does, there are the specifications. You can also see here that it is waterproof to IPX4 standards. And we see down there the weight says 3.07 ounces, which kind of surprises me because it feels like in my hand it doesn't weigh anything. Changing the illumination setting is accomplished by sliding this switch at the rear of the bottom portion of the unit. And I'll go ahead and activate it here. We're starting out on flashlight only, and as I slide that across, we see we now have the laser, and when I go all the way to the other end, it is laser only. So very easy to change this to the illumination setting that you want, and also to activate and deactivate it. So at this point, I've been working with the Mini Balder for about a week now, and I've done some testing with it. One of the tests that I performed was a battery life test, and I did this 3 different ways. I did it with the flashlight only mode, I did it in flashlight and laser mode, and I did it in laser only mode. In the flashlight only mode, the battery lasted about 45 minutes from a full charge until the light finally went out because the battery had lost that much power. In the light and laser combo mode, it didn't make it quite as long. It lasted a little over half an hour, it was about 33 minutes from a full charge until the light and laser went out. In laser only mode, it lasted for 3 hours before I finally just stopped timing it because I had to do something else. Now it's worth pointing out that most people are not going to activate the unit and leave it on constantly for half an hour, 45 minutes, or what have you. They're going to use it intermittently to light up an area, or to check something, or to use the laser and then turn it back off. So it's going to last much, much longer used in that manner than just leaving it on constantly as I was when I was testing it. But I did want to make you all aware of those tests and how long the battery lasted on a full charge. Another test that I wanted to perform with the Mini Balder was to see how well it would perform using the laser as an auxiliary sighting device for the Tisas Carry DS. So I went off to the range and zeroed the laser, and between the zeroing process and the shooting drills that I fired, I put about 100 rounds through the pistol with the Mini Balder attached, and not surprisingly, it stood up to the 9mm recoil with no problems whatsoever. I've never had an Olight product that had any problem with 9mm level recoil, and this one had none either. In any case, once I had the Mini Balder zeroed, I set about to firing some defensive drills, and I was starting out with controlled pairs from a distance of 5 yards, which is coming up using that laser as my sighting device, and firing 2 rounds into the body in a relatively rapid shot tempo. Now, I was out during very bright light conditions, and from 5 yards, I had no problem seeing the green laser. From 15 yards, it started to get a little more difficult to see it. So 5 yards, 7 yards, 10 yards, there was no problem at all. By the time I got 15 yards away, I could see it, but it was not nearly as visible as it was from those closer ranges. And when I got to 25 yards, I could not see the laser dot at all. Again, in very bright, sunny light conditions. So if you're out in the bright sun, there may be some range limitations when it comes to using the laser. Now, as you saw during the nighttime footage that I showed a little while ago, when you're in low light or nighttime conditions, there's no problem seeing that laser for a great distance. But just keep that in mind if you're out during very bright sunny conditions, if this is your primary sighting device. In any case, from 5 yards, I started out shooting those controlled pairs. Then from the same distance, I shot some failure drills, which is 2 shots to the body and 1 shot to the head. And here's how it went using the Mini Balder as my sight. And here are the results of those defensive drills using the mini Balder as my sighting device. The controlled pairs are marked with the black stickers, and they're kind of hard to see, but they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Everything staying nicely centered in the chest except for this one shot that got away from me, and I think I just squeezed the trigger a little bit too fast before the laser settled back down for that one. In any case, this still caught the top of the lung. I don't think it's going to be that bad a shot. The shots from the failure drills are marked with the yellow stickers. I've got 5 of the 6 body shots on the heart. One of them is just a little below the heart into the lung, and I've got 3 good headshots. So no problem at all with those drills from that distance of 5 yards. Now, something I wanted to mention that I discovered while shooting with the mini Balder attached has to do with the latch right here. When I started shooting, I had my thumb in its normal place here along the side of the frame, and under recoil, the sharp corner of this latch jabbed my thumb, and that hurt. So I had to modify my grip a little bit. I just moved my thumb down to the side of the flashlight unit, and there was no problem after that. But if you get a mini Balder and you attach it to probably any handgun, but definitely with the Tisas Carry DS, be careful about your thumb placement because, again, that's kind of painful. Now, something I had not seen anyone do when mounting a laser to a handgun, in fact, you don't see many videos where anyone's doing anything with a laser these days, but something I've never seen anyone do is zero their laser and then remove it and reattach it to the pistol to see if it maintains zero. And I was curious to see what would happen. So what you're going to see in the next segment from the range is I'm going to remove the mini Balder from the pistol, then I'm going to reattach it to the equipment rail and shoot those exact same drills again to see if the shots are striking the same place on the target that they were before. So here's how that went. So not only did the mini Balder maintain zero, but the shots are stacking up on top of each other to the degree that it makes it difficult to show you exactly where they were landing. The controlled pairs this time around are marked with the green stickers, and they are all right in this area here. Looks like there are 3 of them definitely on the heart, 1 of them just clipped the heart, and 2 of them that are into the right lung there. For the failure drills, I've once again got 5 out of the 6 shots that are on the heart. I've got 1 that I pulled a little bit low and left, and coming up here to the head, I've got 2 really nice headshots, and this one I'm sure was me. I apparently jerked the trigger and pulled that low and to the left. So that one's my fault. Everything's looking good. The only thing I noticed about these, and keep in mind that I just zeroed this laser before I started to record the video, and everything looks like it's just slightly off to the left. So I was going to do a long range segment anyway. I wanted to shoot from 15 yards since that's the farthest distance that I could see the laser. And I did make a slight windage correction on my way back to 15 yards. And when I got there, I fired 5 shots from that distance. And I was intentionally targeting the pelvis area just to be able to separate my shots at 15 yards from those that I had already fired at 5 yards. So here's what the 15-yard footage looked like when I was out at the range. And the green stickers here indicate where those shots struck from 15 yards. Overall, not bad. Now you might have noticed that I was shooting kind of slow from 15 yards. That mostly had to do with my difficulty in seeing the laser from that distance. So I was really trying to strain and see where that was before I squeezed off a shot. It wasn't really so much that I was taking my time and trying to do a very slow, deliberate trigger press as much as I was just trying to see the laser. Again, I want to emphasize it was very bright and sunny when I was out at the range. In any sort of adverse lighting conditions, that laser is going to perform much better than it was under the conditions in which I was shooting during the video. In any case, not bad at all. I think this would have definitely gotten his attention if I was shooting him in this area from that distance. And the accuracy is decent. And by the way, after that windage correction, we can see that now from 15 yards, the group is very nicely centered left to right in the target. There's not much more I can say, folks. If you are looking for an illumination device or a light laser combo for the Tisas Carry DS or any other handgun for that matter, the Mini Valkyrie and Mini Balder will definitely fill the role, respectively, either for just a flashlight combo being the Mini Valkyrie or a light laser combo being the Mini Balder. If you have any questions or comments about this video, as always, make sure you forward those to me. And if you're interested in purchasing any Olight products, make sure you go to the Olight store. You can use my discount code there, which is HRFunk, and that'll save you 10% off your purchase from the Olight store. See you next time, folks. And until then, good shooting. Bye-bye.